Denise, if you would, please read the opening Public Meetings Act.
Yes, good morning, everybody. This is to advise that in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, PL 1975, adequate notice of this meeting has been forwarded to the Newark Star Ledger, the Asbury Park Press, the Courier News, the Daily Record, the Home News Tribune, the Jersey Journal, and the New Jersey Herald. It was posted in the Essex County Hall of Records in Newark.
Thank you, Denise. At this time, I'm going to ask everybody to please stand if we could have a moment with September 11th coming up of remembrance for those that died on that day, and then we'll do the salute to the flag. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
All right. Denise, would you please call the roll?
Bergen County,
Present.
Hudson County, Hunterdon County, here. Hunterdon County, oh, here. Jersey City, Middlesex, here.
Here.
Jersey City, here. Middlesex,
Here.
Monmouth County,
Present.
Morris County,
Here.
Newark,
Here.
Ocean County,
Present.
Passaic County,
Here.
Somerset County,
Present.
Sussex County,
Here.
Union County, here. Warren County,
Here.
the Governor's Office,
Here.
New Jersey Department of Transportation,
Here.
New Jersey Transit,
Here.
Port Authority of New York, New Jersey,
Here.
and the Citizens Representative.
All right. We have a quorum?
We do, Chair.
Yes, we do.
So next up on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the July 8th meeting. Are there any corrections, additions, or deletions to those minutes? Around the table. See any? Can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Morris will move to approve the minutes.
Can I have a second?
Newark seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Ocean County.
All right, whoever's abstaining, if you could just where you're from and
Mark Janke, Ocean County, abstain.
Betty Jane Kowalski, Union County, abstain.
all right. So at this time, I'm going to move into the chairman's remarks. I'd now like to take this opportunity to present the chair's report. First, I want to let you know that the board visioning session for Connecting Communities, our long-range transportation plan update, is being planned for October 10th. Dave will share some information about this during his remarks. I encourage all board members, alternates, and RTAC members to participate. The long-range plan is one of the NJTPA's most important products. It guides all of our work, and this visioning session is our best opportunity to shape the development of the plan. Of course, one of the long-range plan's top priorities is to make travel safer. One way the NJTPA is doing this is by assisting 8 counties with developing local safety action plans. These plans will help the counties and our local governments identify and prioritize safety improvements to reduce fatal and serious injury crashes. Public outreach kicked off last month with initial outreach events held in several counties. An online survey and interactive map are being shared to gather input. The plans are expected to be completed by June. In addition to the plans being developed with the NJTPA funding, several counties and municipalities in the region receive federal grants to create their own plans. These plans will allow us to apply for federal Safe Streets and Roads for All grants to implement recommended improvements. There will also be an overall blueprint for improving road safety in our counties. To learn more about the plans or provide input, please visit safetyplansnj.com. That's safetyplansnj.com. I also want to mention another plan under development that will also enable the region to seek federal funding for infrastructure improvements, the Resiliency Improvement Plan. The NJTPA is partnering with the Port Authority to develop this plan, and once it is completed, the board will be asked to adopt it and incorporate it into the long-range plan. This is an important step as it will improve the competitiveness of our region's applications to the Federal Resiliency Grant Program known as PROTECT. Having this plan in place will also lower the non-federal match requirements for any county, municipality, or agency that receives the grants. Finally, I want to remind the subregions that the NJTPA is currently accepting applications for its local safety and high-risk rural roads program, which uses federal dollars to make cost-effective, high-impact safety improvements on county and local roads. Over the past 20 years, the NJTPA has allocated $340 million to local safety projects throughout the region, and another $60 million to high-risk rural roads projects since that program's inception in 2009. In Ocean County, we've used this funding to make improvements to County Route 539 for intersections projects in Toms River and Lakewood, and to apply a high-friction surface treatment to various curved roadways to help reduce skidding and improve safety. The deadline to submit the projects is October 15th. So October 15th is the deadline. You can find the applications and information on the NJTPA's website. And that is all for the chairman's report. So NJDOT, any remarks from NJDOT this morning?
Just that additionally, our long-range transportation plan, we're going to be engaging the NJTPA as we move forward with the public outreach. We are currently beginning public outreach, I believe, in approximately 10 days. We will keep the board as well as the MPO as a whole up to date as we comments and recommendations.
Thank you. NJ Transit, any remarks?
Nothing further. We've been coordinating certainly on the long-range plan, which is great, and looking forward to working also here. And I guess you'll be hearing from me.
Okay, thank you. Port Authority, any remarks?
No comments at this time.
No comments today. All right, at this time, I'm going to turn to Dave for the executive report. David, would you kindly present the report to the board?
Thank you, Commissioner Kenny. Good morning. Before I start my report, I do want to welcome Megan Fackler from NJDOT, the Director of Statewide Planning. Again, I'm sorry I didn't have a chance to personally welcome you for the meeting, but welcome to your first NJTPA board meeting. Tell Eric, hello and that we miss him, but we're glad to have you here. I'm happy to report on staff activities since our last board meeting and share some information about some upcoming events as well. The fall is definitely shaping up to be a busy time for the NJTPA and our subregions and our planning work. First, I do want to note that several subregional studies concluded June 30th, and we're posting reports to our website as they are finalized. And those include Somerset County's Master Plan Circulation Element, Jersey City's Traffic Calming Toolkit, and Monmouth County's Identification of Barriers to Mobility. On a related note, 2 other recent subregional studies were featured at our August committee meetings. I'd like to thank Adam Bradford from Passaic County for presenting the county's recently completed Strategic Infrastructure Investment Plan at the RTAC meeting, as well as Dolores Martinez-Wooden from the City of Newark for presenting Bike Newark, the city's new bicycle plan, at the joint committee meeting. Also, as noted in the central staff highlights that were distributed to the board last week, 3 more studies are underway. Hudson County is looking at circulation in the western part of the county. Middlesex County is conducting a set of road safety audits, and Warren County is developing a streets policy. Public outreach and stakeholder engagement is now underway for all these studies, so it's a good time to look to learn more or to offer your input. In addition, 3 more studies begin with the start of the new work program in July. Those studies are in Hunterdon County, Jersey City, and Somerset County, and they are beginning the initial stages of consultant procurement and moving forward on that. I'd like to thank all the subregional staff working on these studies, which lay important groundwork for improvements needed around the region, and of course, the board members as well for their ongoing support of all of our subregional and regional planning work. Turning to the long-range transportation plan, as Commissioner Kenny mentioned, we'll be holding a board visioning session next month. And as you also just heard, the plan's theme is connecting communities, and you can now see on the screen the logo, which looks to the future while also identifying with some important past work that we did through Together North Jersey. Work on the plan is ongoing, continue through adoption next fall. Consultants are now on board for the plan financial element and public engagement. In addition, important technical work is underway, and this includes taking advantage of a new cutting-edge data source which draws on anonymized cell phone data gathered and compiled by the company Replica. This data can tell us where and how people travel at a level of detail never available for previous plan updates. And we're also using that data in our parallel effort to update our congestion management process. But of course, the long-range plan is about much more than just analyzing data and assessing numerical trends. We also have to identify the priorities and policies that are going to guide our planning programs and investments over the long term for years to come. And that's really where the board visioning session comes in. At that meeting, the board will weigh in on the goals and vision that will guide our planning process, discuss potential strategies for meeting the needs of the diverse communities in our region. Mike Russo, who many of you remember from his time representing NJDOT on this board, will moderate the discussion, and breakout groups will provide another way to participate. Keep an eye out for a save the date notice later this week. I encourage you all to attend. The session will also feature information about public outreach activities that we're going to be conducting in connection with the plan, such as a survey, virtual events, and pop-up outreach opportunities around the region between now and next spring. And I certainly encourage board members to participate in those events when we have them scheduled. These are very important public-facing activities in your local subregion. In other news, late last month, we put out a solicitation for the Vibrant Places program. We do in coordination with the Voorhees Transportation Center at Rutgers and the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs. That program provides technical assistance for a range of creative placemaking projects. It's open to municipal and county governments, as well as nonprofits, community-based, and non-governmental organizations in our region. Applications for that are due September 30th. Examples of what we can accomplish through this program, you can look at the two most recent projects that were completed. In Prospect Park, they explored placemaking approaches to transform their North 8th Street corridor. And in Asbury Park, they developed concepts for a cultural heritage walk along Springwood Avenue. See our website for more information on the program and how to apply. Vibrant Places is one of several NJTPA programs offering planning support and assistance to municipalities. In other work, staff is providing Complete Streets technical assistance to 5 communities, and we recently completed a Planning for Emerging Centers program project with Harrison and Hudson County. These and other locally focused programs are highlighted on the municipal programs page on our website. As you know, we also work with our subregions to advance infrastructure improvements with federal funding. In addition to the local safety and high-risk rural roads programs that Commissioner Kenny mentioned, there are 4 local concept development studies underway. Monmouth, Ocean, and Somerset counties are working on roadway corridors, while Morris County is doing a bridge project. Initial public meetings have been held for all 4 of these over the past 2 months, and work is ongoing. As a reminder, once projects complete concept development, they can enter our transportation improvement program, where they are federally funded through all stages, including construction. So before closing, I want to share 2 upcoming events that may be of interest. On September 17th, Rutgers VTC is hosting a free webinar on crafting an effective, complete, and green streets policy. The NJTPA and the NJDOT Bureau of Safety, Bicycle, and Pedestrian Programs are sponsoring the event, and Sustainable Jersey is helping us organize it. And on September 25th in Bordentown, NJDOT and the Federal Highway Administration, through the New Jersey Local Technical Assistance Program, are hosting a workshop on implementing a towards zero death strategy at the local level, which may also be of interest. You can find more information on these and a lot of other upcoming events on our website at the calendar. So finally, before I conclude, I would just like to thank Jeremy for the presentation you're going to be hearing in a moment. He's really going to be talking about a truly global event. It's exciting and, of course, challenging for our region to be at the heart of it. And I'm looking forward to learning more. And again, Jeremy, thank you very much for doing this presentation for us today. So that concludes my report.
Thank you, David. And with that, as David said, we're going to be going to Jeremy Colangelo O'Brien, Chief Planner at the NJ Transit, who's going to give us an update on planning for the FIFA World Cup in 2026. And I think you're exactly correct. This is going to affect everybody, and it's very exciting. And hopefully we'll have stuff left behind that'll improve transit when it's all said and done. But this time, Jeremy?
Thanks so much, Commissioner. Appreciate it. Good morning, everybody. So just curious, how many people have heard of the FIFA World Cup and that it's going to be in North America or somewhere after? Great. Okay. What I wanted to do was really start at the highest level, maybe a tiny bit small, but this is right off the website, so anyone can go and take a look at the FIFA website. The event, and it really isn't a sort of a series of events, is really spread throughout North America. So you've got matches in Canada, the United States, and Mexico. There's a lot, when you have something that's sort of spread out like this, it's sort of different than prior World Cups, which were, last one was in Qatar. This is really beyond regional, beyond national. So how people are going to be moving through this space is something that's really going to be an interesting thing to figure out. Dave mentioned, replica. We're using replica data in our general planning for New Jersey Transit. There's lots of new data sources that are out there, but we don't really have a way, in my view, speaking personally, to predict with entirely certain sort of outcomes how people will move in this space, right? We don't know if someone might go to a match in Mexico and want to fly to, say, Los Angeles or to, Kansas City, right? We don't know how people are going to follow their teams around. So there's going to be, in my view, some degree of sort of fluidity here. And we have to figure out how to be flexible as we respond to the transportation needs, right? Which is our little slice of this. Although it does intersect with lots of other things, right? It intersects with hotels and accommodation policies. And are people going to be doing, Airbnbs, or are they going to be staying at the Hilton? There's so many things that go into it that when you really start to think about it, you've got to sort of define what you can control and what you can know, how you can plan for those things. So zooming in just a tiny bit, the sort of eastern-ish region, if you will, which essentially stretches from Miami in the south up to Toronto, is a busy region. And as you can see, that bottom row there is what they call New York, New Jersey. I like to think of it as New Jersey, New York, since they're in New Jersey, but that's a different thing. There are 8 matches in our sub-region. And if you see the one way out at the end there, that's the final. So definitely will be a busy time here. But I also want to just note that this is spread out over about a month, right? And that's just the matches. But there's a pre-game and a post-game that happens too. When you think about it, it's really probably a 40-day event, more or less, when you think about arrivals and departures and everything else that happens. So I do want to stress that, in our view, this isn't a series of get people to and from the stadium issues, which I think we're working on. There's been a lot out publicly about that. Enhancements we're making to connectivity from what I will still think of as a Giants stadium, although that's obviously not the case anymore, but to MetLife. It's now going to be called New York, New Jersey Stadium for the purposes of FIFA. We're working on those enhancements for transit, right? This is going to be a big transit event. So we're preparing for that. But there's also, beyond just those 8 matches, there's other activities out there. There are fan zones. There are lots of other things that are happening. And so we have to sort of, again, think about it not just about sort of a dual point problem here where we're getting people to and from the stadium, but really think about it sort of in terms of a region. So when you look at the region, and I will admit to the transit bias of this map as a representative of New Jersey Transit, there's also a big roadway component here. We did leave the roads on, but we sort of faded them into the background. But there's a huge roadway component as well. But when we think about this sort of regionally, just to orient folks, Melissa told me which one's the right button. So up here is MetLife Stadium, right? This connects into the Pacific Valley line, which connects down to Caucus, and the network goes on from there. This is Northeast Corridor, going down to Hoboken, et cetera. Again, there's the issue of getting people between the stadium and Secaucus, New York, et cetera. But there's, again, the broader question of how are people going to be moving around the region. And this is where I think, that it's going to be very important for us to coordinate, not just on the sort of transportation side, but on the non-transportation side as well. So understanding what other attractors and let me not get jargony, what other things are going to be out there that people are going to want to go attend. Are there going to be FIFA-related events that maybe a local entity is going to be sponsoring. The more we can sort of coordinate and know about those sorts of things, the better suited we'll be to meet the needs of the traveling public. And there's obviously going to be a fairly large component of this event, which is comprised of folks not from the region. So how we sort of phrase our public information, our messaging, how we make sure that we're guiding folks who aren't familiar with how this system works. For us, it may be intuitive, but it won't be intuitive for someone from Europe or from Asia or what have you necessarily. So it's going to really be important for us to work on those kinds of issues and make sure we're thinking about that user experience. I have, unfortunately, second, not firsthand knowledge of the Paris Olympics. I did not go myself, but family members went and got reports back about how seamless everything worked, right? How the signage was sort of intuitive from an international perspective, how the systems were sort of functional, how the crowding was managed, how it was clear where to go. All those sorts of things, which are sort of transportation, but also sort of not, are going to be really important for us as we sort of prepare for this event. And really, while the event occurs in the summer of 26, we're obviously working now with a whole host of entities. There's a host committee for the region. They're really leading this. So we're working just as one of many entities which span, transportation, law enforcement, et cetera. So there's a lot of coordination happening, but I think, through this body and other bodies like it, there's an opportunity to work at the county level, municipal level, so that we can really synchronize that sort of messaging and coordination. Because there's lots of different venues that people get information, lots of different resources to bring to bear here. So really, I just leave you with that, right? We're still very much in the sort of information gathering stage, and we will be for quite some time, about the travel patterns, where people are coming from, what would the impacts be at Newark Airport, all those sorts of things. Those are going to be coming clear over the next several months is the expectation. There's a lot of sort of non-transportation information that we'll be seeking, and again, I think there's a coordinating entity sort of function there, right? When we see what's being advertised in terms of economic development associated with which is happening, again, it's sort of sometimes at the county or local level. So learning about those things. We're obviously paying a lot of attention to other major events that have happened. We had COPA recently in North America. We were aware of some of the challenges they had in Florida, for example, but also some of the successes that, say, we had. We hosted 3 matches. I shouldn't say we. New Jersey hosted 3 matches at the stadium. We had large crowds. The crowd sizes were different, basically depending on if Messi was playing or not. Seems to be the driver there, but there was some large crowds for Argentina. How those things were handled, so we're continually working on our best practices and our lessons learned. So I'm confident we'll be able to continue to sort of improve on those things. Although things have been going pretty well so far, but the FIFA volumes, really quite significant. So that really just leads us to needing to be able to work on the sort of coordination and planning elements. And again, I just want to stress and leave you with the fact that while there are transportation pieces and there's lots of transportation work that's done, the inputs to that are often not about transportation, about other sort of things that are out there in terms of attracting folks. We have a really good idea of how our market moves, whether it's people taking a train or a bus to New York, or people taking a 13 bus locally here in Newark, or buses in other parts of the state, which I guess are outside of the region, so I shouldn't talk about that. But we have a good sense of those things. But this is going to be a new kind of an event, and it's going to sort of be incumbent on everybody to work together to gather that information so we have a successful outcome as we handle that 40 days. Really. So I was told to be relatively brief, so I'm being relatively brief, but certainly happy to take any questions from the board. Thanks a lot.
Very good on being the brief part. You did very well. Good presentation, but any board members have any questions for Jeremy?
It's not really a question. It's just a couple comments. So in Morris County, our chamber had some FIFA World Cup folks do a presentation, and most of us aren't really soccer people in the States, and trying to impress upon us the size of this, and multiple Super Bowls taking place at once was one comment. And then I was in Europe this summer, and I said I was from northern New Jersey, and they said, "Oh, you're hosting the World Cup. I'm thinking of going." So, here I am out in Portugal, and they're already tuned in to the World Cup in 2026. And it's also our nation's 250th. So there's a lot of thought that there'll be a lot of crossover in that regard as well. So it's going to be something unprecedented for the region.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Philadelphia, which again, outside of the region, but a lot of 250th celebrations. I think they also have the Major League Baseball All-Star Game and something else. I mean, there's a lot going on across not just the region of the state, but absolutely. That's what we're trying to emphasize that point. We really need to be aware this isn't like a big football game, American football game, right? This is a big event, a month plus long, and it's really going to take all of us working together, to carry it off as successfully.
Any other board members, questions, comments?
Yeah, along those same lines, what will be the opportunities for subregions to be part of this conversation, we're obviously the county right next to Bergen, so there's a lot of economic opportunity here for, businesses in my county. What are the ways to plug into that?
So I would leave that to the host committee. I'm happy to connect you to the host committee if appropriate. I mean, as the transit agency, that's kind of outside our bailiwick, but happy to connect you. It's been very, very sort of helpful and easy.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Questions, comments?
Good question.
Yep, go right ahead.
Have there been any communications between micro-transportation firms and shared ride firms, well-established, forecasting that there are going to be people using those and congestion on the roads? Has that been happening?
Right. Certainly an issue that's out there. Again, that's a little bit out of the transit, New Jersey Transit bailiwick exactly, but definitely something that's been raised as it relates to lots of different things, right? How will those modes, those services work at key hubs? I had that map of key hubs out. So a lot of sort of consideration is going to have to be made around, locations and obviously the traffic patterns in and out, flows, that sort of thing. So definitely an issue, and gets to some of the larger issues around the FIFA and host committee sort of approaches to base management and all the rest. But again, host committee's been very good at sort of engaging. So happy to sort of set that up. But certainly the issue of for-hire vehicles, microtransit, very much on people.
Anyone else from the board? Questions, comments? Anyone else in the room? Any questions, comments? All right, Jeremy, thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
It is a great opportunity. I know during the Copa, we had the soccer team from Chile residing in Middlesex County.
Okay.
While they were playing here. So it's a great opportunity for all of the counties in New Jersey to hopefully have a nice financial windfall. So, and play a good host. So at this time, I'm going to go to the committee reports and action items, and I'm going to go to the Project Prioritization Committee. I will now call on Commissioner Susan Soloway to give the Project Prioritization Committee report. And once again, thank you for chairing during my absence at the August meeting. Commissioner?
Thank you, Commissioner. I'm pleased to report on the activities of the Project Prioritization Committee. The committee has considered one action item which does not require board approval today, a modification to the fiscal year 2024 through 2027 Transportation Improvement Program to add federal funds to the Monmouth County Bridge S-31, also known as the Oceanic Bridge in Rumson and Middletown. The committee's approved the county's request to add $3 million from the Federal Surface Transportation Block Grant Program for preliminary engineering in the current fiscal year, increasing the total for this phase to $7.5 million. The cost increase is based on a revised estimate the county received. Funding is available in the NJTPA Future Projects Program line item to cover this increase. The committee also heard an information item summarizing progress on our update to the Congestion Management Process, or CMP, which is being called the Accessibility and Mobility Regional Reassessment. This effort looks at our region's complex travel patterns and searches for ways to improve the transportation system's performance across various modes, including roads, public transit, rideshare, walking, biking, and other micromobility. As Dave mentioned in his report, this reassessment will include new data that was not available when the CMP was last updated in 2021. As part of this work, the NJTPA's partner agencies are participating in a working group which met recently, and a technical advisory group has also been convened for this effort. Future meetings are planned to discuss regional needs and performance measures. The findings from this report will help inform the long-range transportation plan update, which this board will consider for adoption in September 2025. This concludes my Project Prioritization Committee report. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Soloway. At this time, we're going to go to the Planning and Economic Development Committee. We're going to hear from Commissioner Kowalski, who will give the report. So, Commissioner?
Thank you, Chair. And it's my pleasure to report on the activities of the Planning and Economic Development Committee. At the August joint meeting, as Dave mentioned, we received a presentation on Newark's bike plan, which was developed through a sub-regional study. The plan recommends expanding the city's biking network, including additional bike lanes and shared use paths. A survey for the study received 900 responses, showing the great support and interest in biking in Newark. I join Dave in thanking Dolores Martinez-Wooden, Newark's Director of Engineering, for the presentation. The committee also considered 2 action items which require board approval today. The first is the modification of the fiscal year 2025 Unified Planning Work Program, which was adopted by this board on March 11th, 2024. The modification is a budget increase of $760,000 drawn from various federal program funds that have become available since the adoption. Changes include $25,000 for consultant assistance with NJTPA strategic planning, $100,000 to coordinate planning and development in the area of a new train station in Newark's Dayton neighborhood connecting to Newark Airport. This work will be completed through a sub-recipient contract to NJIT's Hillier School of Architecture. $300,000 to upgrade the NJTPA's website platform, $10,000 for activities to support innovative public outreach for the long-range plan, $45,000 for information systems equipment upgrades, and $280,000 to support the cross-county connection and Greater Mercer Transportation Management Associations. This was requested by the Delaware Valley Regional Planning Commission using funds available to their region to complement similar increases to the NJTPA previously made for the 6 other transportation management associations in our region. The second action item asks the board to support adjusting the target for the percent of non-single occupant vehicle travel in the Philadelphia urbanized area, which covers a portion of the NJTPA region. This action is needed to meet federal performance management requirements. Under the system, the NJTPA must agree on performance targets dealing with traffic congestion for each of the 3 large urbanized areas that include parts of our region. The metropolitan planning organizations and state departments of transportation in these areas agreed to keep existing targets for the other 2 urbanized areas that cover our region. This target is being adjusted to reflect travel changes during and following the COVID-19 pandemic, and today's action will accomplish that change. Thank you, Chairman, and this concludes the Planning and Economic Development Committee report.
Thank you, Commissioner Kowalski. So as the Commissioner said, we have 2 action items on today's agenda. The first is the approval of fiscal year 2025 Unified Planning Work Program modification, and I am looking for a motion to move this forward.
The second move it.
Second. Union County.
Got that, Ted?
Yes,
All
sir.
right. So we have a motion and a second. Do we have any comments from the board? Any comments from the members of the public on this item? So Denise, would you please take the roll?
Yes. Bergen County,
Yes.
Essex County,
Yes.
Hudson County,
Yes.
Hunterdon County,
Yes.
Middlesex County,
Yes.
Monmouth County,
Yes.
Morris County,
Yes.
Newark,
Yes.
Ocean County,
Yes.
Passaic County,
Yes.
Somerset County,
Yes.
Sussex County,
Yes.
Union County,
Yes.
Warren County,
Yes.
the Governor's Office,
Yes.
Department of Transportation,
Yes.
New Jersey Transit,
Yes.
Port Authority.
Yes.
The modification is passed.
Thank you very much. The next action item is the approval of the adjusted percent non-single occupant vehicle travel target for the Philadelphia urbanized area. Can I get a motion to move this resolution?
Motion, Sussex County.
Second, Somerset.
Thank you very much. Any comments from the board members? Any comments from the members of the public on this item? All right, could I have a roll call, please, Denise?
Yes. Bergen County,
Yes.
Essex County,
Yes.
Hudson County,
Yes.
Hunterdon County,
Yes.
Jersey City,
Yes.
Middlesex
Yes.
County, Monmouth County,
Yes.
Morris County,
Yes.
Newark,
Yes.
Ocean County,
Yes.
Passaic County,
Yes.
Somerset County,
Yes.
Sussex County,
Yes.
Union County,
Yes.
Warren County,
Yes.
the Governor's Office,
Yes.
Department of Transportation,
Yes.
New Jersey Transit,
Yes.
Port Authority.
Yes.
The adjustment has,
Thank you, Denise. So at this time, we're going to move to the Freight Initiatives Committee. We're going to hear from Commissioner Stephen Shaw with the Freight Initiatives Committee report. Commissioner Shaw?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm pleased to report on the activities of the August 19th Freight Initiatives Committee meeting. Central staff updated the committee on the NJTPA's 2050 freight industry level forecasts, which will be completed by June 2025. This work actually began approximately 8 months ago and is being led by Cambridge Systematics. Among the items that have been completed are the methodological framework, data collection, and a disaggregation of the freight analysis framework, which will serve as the baseline commodity flow information. The upcoming FY 2025 Freight Concepts Development Program includes studies for the Southern Middlesex County North-South Truck Corridor Project in Cranberry and Monroe, and the East Hanover Avenue Bridge Catenary Rail Clearance Project in Morris Plains and Morris Township, Morris County. Consultant selection is underway. The committee heard 3 presentations on marine highway initiatives in our region. The Cross Harbor Car Float at Greenville Yard in Jersey City uses 2 barges to float 18 rail cars at a time to the 65th Street Terminal in Brooklyn. In 2023, 5,000 rail cars were moved, with each trip carrying the equivalent of 72 truckloads. The second presentation focused on New York City's Blue Highways program to expand waterborne freight distribution. This program is part of a larger Harbor of the Future initiative from the Mayor's Office that includes economic development along the waterfront. The final presentation focused on the efforts of UPS to explore transporting its packages from Bayonne to Brooklyn via barge. Additional information about these initiatives is available on the NJTPA's website. I personally found these presentations fascinating. Didn't know what a car float was, and really going back to old methods that were in place before the advent of tractor trailers and the interstate highways. So old methods are new again. At the meeting, I provided an update on one of Morris County's freight railroad projects. This project is funded through NJDOT's Rail Freight Assistance Program to build a runaround track approximately 9 along the Dover and Rockaway Railroad in Rockaway Township to improve railroad operations. Both turnouts have been installed, and we expect to have that project completed by mid-September. Somerset County noted that it was holding a public hearing in August on the adoption process for the circulation element of the county master plan. This plan includes recommendations to support goods movement and freight initiatives throughout the county. This concludes my report, but on a quick personal note, I did run into past Chair Kathy DiFilippo over the weekend, told her I had this meeting this morning, and she wanted to send her best along to everybody here and commented how much she enjoyed her time here on this board.
Very good to hear. Greatly appreciated.
Yes, and also the Freight Initiative Committee always has exciting stuff during their meetings. I agree. Serving on it, some of the stuff that came up was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And so if you have a chance, make sure that you either attend or remotely attend the Freight Initiatives Committee to hear what's going on in the region. So at this time, we're going to be going to the public. As a reminder, we advise members of the public that we have a 3-minute time limit on comments. The light on the timer will go from green to yellow when there are 30 seconds remaining, and then red when 3 minutes is reached. We ask that you keep your comments within this allotted time. We'll start with members of the public who have signed up to speak. Then we'll call on those joining us remotely who have signed up in advance to provide comments. So at this time, Denise, would you please call on the first person who signed up to speak today?
Commissioner Kenny, we have no one signed up to speak in person or remotely today.
Okay, so, anybody at this time? Thank you for, this time I'm going to say the next meeting of the NJTPA Board will be held at the NJTPA office in Newark on November 12th, 2024 at 10:30 a.m. And so at this time, I just ask for a motion to adjourn.
Morris makes a motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second, Passaic?
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? If you are, stay here. Otherwise, the meeting's adjourned. Yes.
Chairperson.
The agenda.